Hi guys, how y'all doing? A while back, I was watching friend of the channel, fellow K-pop YouTuber, Jihoon's Carrots, shout out, and they were talking about the girl group IZ*ONE. And in that video, they had a section where they went over something that brought back a lot of memories and sent me down a deep rabbit hole. It made my blood boil then, and it still makes my blood boil now, so get some botanitas and maybe a stress toy or something to do, because unfortunately, this is going to be a longer video, and I'm going to be talking about a K-pop touring company who is and was doing a lot of horrible things. Before starting the video, I want to put out a few disclaimers. Please do not send hate to any person or company mentioned in this video. I have only gathered things posted online by various different individuals, including the CEO of J&B Entertainment, various allegations, different forms of media, and I put it together with my own opinions and commentary sprinkled in. Take all of the information I'm about to show you with a grain of salt and ultimately come to your own conclusions about the people involved. I'm not trying to get sued, and while some people have argued that it doesn't sound like J&B have a credible or real legal team, I don't want to be dealing with any of that. Also, WM Entertainment is also involved, and I do know that they do have a legit legal team, so I'm really not trying to get involved with that. Like I said, all of this is just me compiling things together and adding my own personal opinion, which I will make abundantly clear. Also, for the background, I am going to be doing a basic spiral stitch, a 4-3 kind of stitch with all of the beads that I have in my collection. Anyway, with that being said, J&B Entertainment is a Canadian K-pop touring company / promoter that was founded on February 26, 2019, or at least that's when they were officially registered to the Ontario Business Registry, with them having completed just over 7 years as a company a few months ago as of me writing and recording this. That's when they officially started operations, but in their portfolio they have credit for their work in tours and Canadian tour stops since 2017. So take that how you may. They are the little sister company of Stellaron, a K-pop concert production company founded sometime in 2017, and CBM Press, an advertising, performance, and event planning company, according to them, founded in 2005. There seems to be a lot of people involved in CBM Press, like employees, and I don't know how far up in there Jacky is, but CBM Press is mentioned on the J&B Entertainment website. Speaking of, the founder and CEO of J&B Entertainment and Stellaron is a man named Jacky, and on social media he repeatedly uses the username Jacky7102, so I assume that he was born sometime in February of 1971, which, if true, makes him around 55 at the time of me posting this video. According to a Threads post made on March 25th, 2025, J&B Entertainment was just a side hobby that he started in 2019, and he said in this post that he was considering making this a, quote, full-fledged performance business. Mind you, this was posted at the very least 6 years into the company being founded, or 8 depending on what you count as the founding year. And it seems like maybe he can't even decide, as in a reply to his post, he posted the dates and performances of the concerts his company helped out on, and there were dates as far back as January 2017. Entonces, ¿quién chingo sabe? In this post, he said that he never thought that he could get over 10,000 followers or have a pure fan base, which I don't know about that pure fan base part. However, people who do have a pure fan base is On and Off, the 6-member Korean boy group debuting on August 3rd, 2017 under WM Entertainment, and is/was the little brother group of my alt group, B1A4. They consist of the members Hyojin, Ishun, Sungjun, Wyatt, Minkyun, and Yu or Yuto. They're a really talented group, but unfortunately had to deal with Jacky's weird ass, in my opinion, and with their own company not putting their well-being before anything else. Allegedly. As you can tell from the aforementioned post, Jacky is very involved in his companies. He is constantly posting on social media, whether on the official J&B Entertainment account or on his own personal social media accounts. Now, I don't know if he is still the one who manages and posts on the official J&B Entertainment account, or if after his controversy he hired someone to do it, especially after he considered this a potentially fruitful business. But for a long time, it seemed and it was alleged that he was the only one posting on the official account, and that he was and is the one who sent messages. There are a lot that can be tracked back to him, particularly by his unique way of writing. He even apparently made some, emphasis on some, promotional and update posters for the concerts and tours, which I don't know if those help the business, peace and love, but I want to get into that after talking about the thread and the main controversy around his company. There are unfortunately many controversies surrounding J&B Entertainment, which affected many groups and fandoms. I'm going to start with what happened with On and Off and then move from there to other groups that were affected after the expose thread was posted onto Twitter. A thread was started and posted by Gabby136, who I will refer to as Gaby throughout this video, on July 4th, 2024, just shy of 3 months after the tour announcement and just over a month before the North American tour actually kicked off. Now, I don't speak Korean nor can I read Hangul, so I will be relying on other people's translations and a mix of different translation websites. But if there is anything mistranslated, a cultural difference, or anything like that, please let me know. The first tweet by Gaby says, "Please be advised that future tweets are written for the purpose of sharing information and serving the public interest, rather than for defamation, such as simple disparagement or interference with business operations, with various different hashtags of On and Off, J&B, WM, and one that says something along the lines of WM and J&B must provide an explanation." The thread continues saying, "I am publicly disclosing the details of the controversial tour agency J&B, including their method of giving, quote, benefits to a small group of people, unquote, and WM Entertainment for staying silent regardless of knowing all of this." And then they post 15 pictures that include Kakao Talk messages, different screenshots, and explanations, which I will go over and read in a minute. It continues, "Since then and even now, fuses who are hoping to participate in the Asian and North American tours and who make even the slightest remark questioning their management end up getting threatened via DM or mentions. There is a group chat where the CEO of J&B is still allegedly in contact with around 10 fuses." That one was a little confusing with the translation I found and did, but that is what the gist of it is. This next one is a little off too, but it kind of translates to, "Fuses are listening. Also, it said that they, J&B, are only showing a part of the email WM sent. They are playing the victim while applying silent pressure. Despite this ongoing intimidation, I decided to gather the courage to go public in order to inform as many fans as possible of the situation, hoping to improve it even a little and protect the members. Even though you know everything, Vice President of WM Entertainment who lets J&B act recklessly, will you still condone all action just because they're an acquaintance?" With hashtags of WM and J&B and ending it with WM and J&B explain, the thread closes with a tweet saying, "This public discussion has been written only with truths without any falsehoods, and I plan to continue fighting until I receive an apology. I need the help of fuses so that this does not become a fight I face alone. Please join in with the hashtags and email campaigns." With the same aforementioned hashtags, and the last tweet included the email addresses of J&B, WM, and the emails of WM for On and Off. I am going to go through parts of each of the pictures posted because from what I was able to see with the translations, there are some conversations that, while great for evidence and showing people how they talked in and out of the group chat, I don't feel like they're that important for me to go over here. Like the first image is someone getting recruited to join the group chat. I won't be going over things like that. Another thing before starting with the images, according to some internet users, some people who have been to the concerts put on by J&B and or people who have allegedly volunteered for their concerts, there are only around 3 quote-unquote official employees for J&B Entertainment, and that's even a stretch in and of itself. Jacky, his wife, and then potentially somebody else. Me personally, in my opinion, I don't know how true that is, so again, just take that information with a grain of salt, but that low-key would make sense since he thought of J&B Entertainment as a hobby. So, however, I do know that his wife is quite involved and even mentioned by fans who have been to concerts, even shown in pictures in connection to CBN Press, so take that how you will. So for context, this group chat was put together by J&B Entertainment where there was around 10 fans who they allegedly considered big spenders, with the caption for the first image saying, "On April 3rd, On and Off's tour agency J&B Entertainment sent personal messages to fans who spent much money on events during the Canada tour and suggested starting a group chat for those who would be attending the next tour. The next day, a group chat was created with the J&B CEO and 10 fans. I will publicize the context of the group chat to avoid any any further damage from them. On the second image that Gaby posted, there is a user who, if we take the alleged information that there are only 2 or 3 employees in J&B Entertainment, I would assume it's either Jacky's wife or the other said employee, but this user is talking about how the group chat is for discussing On and Off's America's tour, that in the chat there will be discussions of things that haven't been announced to the public and that they shouldn't be posted or discussed anywhere else, saying that if they were to catch someone leaking information, that they would be removed from the group and banned or excluded from future J&B Entertainment events. Then the official J&B Entertainment profile talks about how they are the organizers for the Canadian and US stops, and then lets the big spenders know how many premium and standard snapshots there are in total and per member per stop, I think, a package deal and things like that. So already leaking information to them. Then he tells them that they're allowed to ask questions like what snacks they like and what they can bring, just nothing too personal or explicit, but he does leak things later, so whatever. The translation that I could find was kind of weird, but he was talking about the fans potentially asking for the On and Off's members' locations of their accommodations. I don't know if he was telling them not to ask or if it was okay to ask. Either way, he had posted their flight plans and hotel accommodations for their tour that was early in 2024 on Instagram while they were traveling and staying in the hotel. But we'll talk about that later when we get to it. The caption for this photo is, "The CEO showed off and used their power, making fans who were there purely to attend the next tour curious about many things." Speaking of leaking their personal information, the caption for the 3rd/4th picture says, "Afterwards, I heard stories that they had been leaking private schedules and hotel information about the members to selected fans during the tour back in March." And in the first chat screenshot, it's a chat someone is having with J&B on February 26th of 2024, asking them if the members were going to visit Niagara Falls, with J&B replying that they were going to go on the 29th, fully just giving this fan information on the members' private schedules. And they continue saying something about it being premium information and laughing. The group chat in and of itself is insanely unprofessional, but this is just straight up inappropriate, gross, and is seeing the artist that he is supposed to organize a whole tour for as a product or something to dangle in front of the fans, not as people, in my personal opinion. And unfortunately, it only goes downhill from here. In the second and third screenshots of the 3rd/4th image, J&B is telling the group chat members that he was offering them sweat-soaked shirts from the members, but to say something now because there were only a few available per stop. And why does someone reply with me? Why does somebody want one? He said something along the lines of if there are no takers, then he's either going to throw them away or give them to random people, and then revealed that he scolded staff, most likely volunteers, for throwing the shirts away, I'm assuming for the last tour. The caption for the 5th picture says, "The tour agency CEO flaunted their power, comparing it to gaining petty profit, and used things such as the members used and autographed t-shirts to exploit the fans' pure hearts. This makes us wonder if this was confirmed with the agency, as they are using their position as CEO as the only reason for being able to gift fans autographed t-shirts." And in the first screenshot, someone is asking for one of the shirts, and J&B goes from talking about there being 12 instead of 10 members in the group chat quickly back to giving away the shirts again, talking about reserving the shirt and what city they want it from, that there's only 48 in total that they can choose from. And apparently this tour wasn't going to be the first time that he was pulling this t-shirt shit. He said something about 3 for $100 each, so $300 in total, and then sent a screenshot of his Jacky 7102 account where he posted what looks like a hoodie or t-shirt for the Be Here Now On and Off tour that he organized 3 stops for. So saying or insinuating that he had sold shirts and or hoodies from that tour, 3 of them in specific. This is absolutely fucking disgusting. He is taking these shirts that the members used for the encore, because he specified that too, mind you, and is either selling them or giving them away. And according to his own words, had the audacity to get mad at staff, volunteers, for throwing the shirts away.
This bitch needs an intervention, a straight jacket, a 72-hour hold to police, whatever the something.
Like I said, it's insanely unprofessional and inappropriate to let alone have this group chat, but the fact que está ofreciendo las camisas sudadas de los on and off, it's so gross and dehumanizing for the actual members. And I can't believe he was almost bragging to these fans about what he did last tour. Moving on from that, picture 6, he is talking about how many VVIP tickets there are in this tour in comparison to the last tour, where this tour had 50 VVIP tickets per stop and the last tour had about 200 tickets per stop, saying that if they signed up that it would leave only 40 tickets per stop for the other fans who weren't in the group chat, which they would all have to fight for. The caption for the picture says, they also prioritized the members in the chat, allowing them to purchase platinum and higher tier tickets without limit. They also opened a separate Google form for the 10 people. And from the translation that I got from the text, I think that they mean that there wasn't a limit for the 10 people to buy tickets for whatever stop, but he clarified that they couldn't buy a ticket for a friend or anything like that. In the 7th picture, he sent a couple of pictures of what I think are screenshots of DMs and things. It's blurry so I can't really see, but he was saying that he needs a reflection statement from this person and that there would be a record of them on Shopify, their name or email address, and that if that person reported something to GUYSSSSSS Entertainment, they would be blacklisted from Weverse or something. He sent another screenshot of someone tweeting out an apology to J&B Entertainment, pleading for J&B to please unblock their account, that they were sorry for their rude tweet back from November and that they wanted to support them. Then he sent another screenshot from someone named Burger L where they asked, are you going to get a good time with this? I'm so worried. And J&B replied not only on Twitter but also in the group chat. He told Burger L that instead of hating they should be donating, buying votes, something like that. It was a bunch of gibberish in the translation and I assume it was the same in Korean low-key, but that people like Burger L are the reason that concerts get cancelled. He told Ms. Burger and the people in the chat that he was thinking of blocking those people who were leaving negative comments. He was laughing about the fact that he was receiving a lot of messages, especially from international fans, asking how to get unblocked from the J&B Entertainment account. That it was strange that now on and off fans are worried about profits. The caption for the picture was, they are also constantly fighting with fans on their official accounts. They also blocked and warned fans who made statements that aggravated them, threatening them that they wouldn't be able to see the group. It's so crazy that he kind of was, in my opinion, reveling in this quote-unquote power that he had as being the CEO of the touring company that's in charge of the on and off tour. The 8th picture was just a screenshot of a Twitter interaction that Jacky had and some DMs. Someone asked about the prices for VIP tickets and J&B replied with, we have only 100 tickets VVIP, $179 included GA, but this is not official announcement and not confirmed yet. Don't spend a lot of money. Why are you, a poor college student, asking about the price of VVIP tickets? Just watch the performance and enjoy taking a snapshot. One more thing, we don't have VIP. Well, fuck you too then, damn. And then there was somebody who tweeted out asking why there was a price and perk difference between the Asian tour and the North American tour. I think there was a little bit of a back and forth. I don't really know because J&B ended up deleting a lot of their tweets, but there are screenshots that this person released and it's J&B saying, if same perks need more price, NA is promotion price. Asia side can't. Sorry about that. NA is our home side. That while we can fan event price down and promotion price and benefit, but Hong Kong/Taiwan high rental venue fee and evening much more high. If you guys think high fan event ticket price just passed, you can buy GA tickets. Later you can check fan event tickets sold hour or not. Thank you. Sold out. And why your compare NA? NA is NA and Asian market is Asia. Don't compare. Just feel free. You can buy GA1 ticket. Anyway, one say again, sorry if you think the price is expensive, don't buy it. And the caption was, the agency left unnecessarily rude comments to fans who were purely curious about the pricing. They told the fan, don't buy the ticket if you don't have money. Is this the right way to answer? In the next picture, he starts by saying that On and Off should release an album when the fans have money. And someone replies to something that J&B sent and asks about details of On and Off's next comeback. He rambles about something and then spoils that On and Off's comeback would be a full-length album album in October. So someone clarifies, asking if it's not a mini album, but a full-length album. And that's when Jacky gets cold feet and is like, those are forbidden questions, ha ha ha. The caption is, J&B's CEO flaunted their friendship with WM Entertainment's vice CEO and spoiled the group's comeback information. Although they can talk about their close friendship with the agency, we think it's crossing the line for giving spoilers for a full-length album. He's teasing the information and then acting like he can't spoil it. Meanwhile, he folded under no pressure. Someone asked one question, and I want to raise y'all a question. If y'all were in a group chat with fans, people who will be paying you soon to see their faves, would you talk shit about their favorite group to them? Me personally, I would not. That's so unnecessarily rude and idiotic, but this man has the audacity, the gall, to do this in the group chat of big spenders. He sends a screenshot of the tour posters on Instagram for this Spotlight tour and the Here and Now tour, circling and comparing their engagement. He said that last year's poster, which was the same fucking year but whatever, didn't have that much engagement, that he was damn near crying when he saw the reaction or lack thereof, and said that On and Off didn't have any popularity, and that he was tempted to go to Korea to grab the vice president, his amigi by the way, by the collar, or at least that's what the translation said. Why the hell would he send this in the group chat? I don't know. El señor no tiene vergüenza, I think. And I don't know if he wanted to kind of guilt trip the fans into spending money. That's a random theory, not any accusation. Or if he was just venting and ranting to these fans because he felt all powerful amongst them. Again, another theory. Either way, it's insane to do. The caption says, they continued by saying that they raised the group and that there's no profit left when the tour ends. They also talked about how the members weren't good at English and frequently criticized the members. First off, we'll get to the spending and there being no profits later. That's a whole different conversation. But I know Mr. Sold Hour and Once isn't talking. Mind you, a Canada-based touring company who can't write a correct or coherent sentence in English, judging people born and raised in Korea and Japan for not speaking good enough English. They have a reason for potentially not being the best at English. I've heard him speak. I'll tell you right now, the On and Off members, light years ahead of his ass. But anyway, on the 11th picture, him and a fan were talking about purchasing tickets. I assume that the fan was asking about purchasing the tickets through their official Canadian website, but Jacky was telling them that the taxes were high and that everyone in the group chat were going to have to pay in Korean won. This person was hesitant, and Jacky said that they had no reason to be in the group chat then, and when this person said that they would think about it a little bit more, he said he wasn't forcing them, but he low-key just threatened to kick them out of the group chat. Oh, okay. Then he tells the chat that if they want to buy the tickets when the website is open to the public, then that's fine, but that he is doing this for them to make the ticket purchasing process easier, that so many foreigners are going crazy, but he's just ignoring them. Then he went on to talk about profits and ticket amounts, saying that while they could make more money offering more tickets and more stops, he is thinking about what is easier on the members and finishing cleanly. Me thinks it's because he can only handle 8 stops, and I'm being generous with the word handle. Again, he was saying that he was giving them a deal that they would only pay $1,000, but foreigners would pay $3,000 per city. I don't really know the math on that. I'll put up the text right here if someone understands that a little bit more. Please let me know. But he was saying that there was an astronomical difference between what the Korean people in the chat would pay and what the quote-unquote foreigners would pay on the actual website. I don't know what he has against non-Korean people and why he keeps shitting on them. Also, I don't understand why he refers to Canadians and Americans as such if he himself has companies based in Canada and that's his main demographic, but we move. The caption says, they told fans that they could only purchase in KRW and emphasized that refunds would be impossible. They made it clear that if they weren't going to purchase, they had no reason to be in the chat room. I watched a few Dizzy Pop videos on this, shout out, but when talking about this in specific, Jacky's saying stuff about taxes in Canada and wanting fans to pay him directly in Korean won. Dizzy and other people said that that is tax evasion. I personally do not know, but after I heard him say it and after I started putting 2 and 2 together, he may be onto something. He might be honest. On the 12th picture, he was asking about how On and Off had 7 members originally. He then sends a picture of what looks like a cropped group picture and circled a fan, uncensored. Gibby censored them, asking if anyone knew this person's Twitter at. He then starts talking about how he was blacklisting people, that it didn't matter which stop in Canada or the US, that he wasn't going to let them into the venue, that even if they tried to buy a ticket, they would be refunded immediately, and that if someone else tried to buy the blacklisted person a ticket, they would be blacklisted as well. He even said that they would be blacklisted for the next year's world tour. Mind you, the Spotlight tour still hadn't happened yet. He was getting way ahead of himself. The caption says they would post faces of fans that might not be in the chat room and were seen designating people to the blacklist. The 13th picture starts with a screenshot of messages where someone says, "Hello, I saw that it was possible to take 2 platinum tickets on your site. Is this true?" And who I assume is Jacky replied with, "Sorry, you can't true. May 11th, then he says something, AMEST. Thank you." He then was kind of pity bragging, or I don't know what to call it, but he was just kind of being like, so many people are asking to buy tickets and some are asking to buy directly and flooded with messages. And I don't know if he was trying to say that so many people are interested, even though a few images back he was complaining that On and Off aren't super popular. And then there is a weird translation that I don't know why he might say this, so I'll just read it out as it was translated. If this leaks out, I will definitely curse that person so that they get sleep paralysis and a grown woman wets her bed every day. Oh, I'm so scared, guys. We got Billy Badass over here. He says that no matter where this person tries to buy tickets, that if it's with J&B, he will follow them and cancel every attempt. He then talks to the group chat about how the tickets are going to work for the people in the chat, then sends a link and jokes again about On and Off and their popularity, saying something along the lines of that there probably isn't a concert promoter that goes quote unquote all in on them. But he talked more about the tickets and that people were complaining, crying, making a fuss about something about the film for the snapshots. So if I understood correctly, for the Here and Now tour, I think that they had enough film before the tour started and then someone messed up and they didn't have enough film anymore. So obviously people were mad that they paid for their snapshot and it was either delayed or they just didn't get it. I don't know. He didn't go into detail and I didn't go to any show. Either way, it was on him in my opinion. He's the CEO. He should have had it somewhat together at least. Also, if it's just a standard Polaroid with like the Instax or whatever they're called, just go to Walmart or something. It's so easy to get film. He then says that people there, I'm assuming in the chat, are probably just there because of Hyojin and Sunjun. Oh, whatever that means. Anyway, the caption for this picture says, "I think they also knew that what they were doing was somewhat wrong, as they emphasized many times not to talk about what goes on in the group chat anywhere else. However, they would mock the other fans that weren't invited into the chat room." The 14th picture is just screenshots of J&B and someone on what looks like Twitter, and it starts with J&B threatening someone. "This is the last warning. I will invalidate the tickets and process a refund." He then sends a screenshot from Twitter where someone quote retweeted a tweet from J&B, but because of the censorship of the username, I can't see what they said, but it was something very small. J&B says also, and then, "I have reported you to WM. You're an On and Off fan." The fan replied, but it's blurred, and then J&B says, "You are tarnishing the reputation of all On and Off fans. This is the final warning." The fan says something else, and then J&B sends a screenshot of something in English and then translated to Korean. I tried reading the English even though it's pretty blurry, and this is what I got. "Anything else I should know about the event? We are thrilled to have you at the event. We would like to ask all attendees to be respectful of the artists and staff at all times. Please note inappropriate behaviors such as," then there's something, "artist personal bubble or aggressive behavior towards the artist or our staff may result in a cancellation of the ticket and you may be escorted out of the event venue. Details about the events may change in the future." And then he continues with the messages. "Should I cancel it now? Are you going to delete it?" The fan sends a couple more messages and J&B finishes the convo, or at least the conversation in screenshots, with, "If you continue to write abusive language or similar inappropriate content in the future, we will report you to WM and impose additional sanctions such as purchasing from events like Seoul concert tickets, or you may not be able to participate in future tours." At the bottom, there's the whole "you can no longer message this user," so I would assume that the J&B blocking spree included this fan. The caption says, "Additionally, here are more DM screenshots of other victims. J&B ignored fans as if they were the agency CEO, causing much damage. For the 15th picture, I want to read the caption before anything. It says, I quietly reported the situation to WM for fear that J&B would cause harm to others. Gibby then shows the beginning of their email where it addresses WM and RBW, saying how they are a fuse and have been for a long time. The caption continues, however, WM shared this email to J&B and started harassing me. And that's where the Kakao Talk messages continue, where Jacky is basically having a meltdown, asking for a head count, saying that he understands the fans' hearts because he was a fan of someone in the past, that he created this room to help fans because he understands them, that right now he is being called a scammer even though he only asked for the price of the tickets, and that he was gathering evidence to send to the company, which I assume is WM. He says that he's thinking of canceling everything, the J&B invites and all of it. He says that he knows that people would suffer emotionally and is asking the fans their personal opinions on the situation, then ask if they could do him a personal favor. The 16th and final image started with part of the caption which says, afterward they specified the person who sent the email and forced them out of the chat room. Then it includes a screenshot of the email that J&B sent, and parts of that are blacked out, and those parts are the person's name, address, and phone number. The rest of the email is basically threatening to take legal action against the so-called defamation and slander that they claim this person was doing. The email also lists a couple of things, like that this person is blacklisted from purchasing tickets from J&B or attend any of their concerts, that they will pursue legal action against the fan if they try to go to concerts under somebody else's name, and they wanted an apology for WM, RBW, and J&B. A letter of reflection, if you will, on the falsehoods that they said and spread. He then had the audacity to add a deadline, which was June 15th, 2024. The last thing was that if they were ever to receive complaints like that again, same format but under a different name, that J&B may intensify the legal action against this fan. The rest of the caption is, an email was sent threatening to sue for defamation along with the personal information of the person who sent the email. The only thing received from WM was silence. So, after all of this was uploaded, there was pretty much immediate backlash, with people obviously coming to the defense of On and Off and the fans who were threatened by J&B, sharing their own personal stories and experiences dealing with J&B Entertainment, specifically with Jacky U. There is a tweet where someone named HyoArdcore or Mars quote retweeted the thread I just went over and talked about their experience when they accidentally quote unquote leaked tour information early. The North American leg of the tour was announced by J&B Entertainment on April 12th, 2024, with J&B Entertainment posting the stops and the dates in their tweet now. According to Mars, their explanation for what happened was, in my defense, I was at work, a friend sent me the link to the official website listing the tour dates, and I assumed it was already announced. It wasn't. So I excitedly started yelling on the timeline. Meanwhile, J&B is having a conniption in my DMs. Mind you, this whole thing is on J&B Entertainment for posting the listings for the tour and the tour dates on their official website that much more in advance and not making it private, because they were organizing and promoting different tours for different artists at the time. So realistically, anyone could have seen it if they were on the website. So like Mars said, they're screaming on the timeline, and J&B Entertainment messaged them the day of the announcement saying, you post Delta now. Can you Delta now? Please delete the repost. It's not time yet. Last warning. If not Delta, I block you. So Mars said, oh, I'm sorry, I'll delete it. I just deleted the thread. I didn't know it wasn't announced yet. My friend sent me the link. With J&B Entertainment saying, I know we mistake. Anyway, 30 min left. It okay. Too late. Okay, we late. So many people reposting. Thank you. Now, I know that this is an iconic set of screenshots from Mars. I've seen it around. Again, extremely unprofessional. He even admitted it was a mistake on their end, but it's just so funny to me that he came in guns blazing and then ends it with, it okay. Another thing that I found while looking around, and again, take everything with a grain of salt, but someone shared screenshots from an alleged volunteer for J&B Entertainment, where the message said, from a volunteer for the Canadian On and Off tour, put On and Off in a hotel directly across the street from a Kpop store, actively stopped caring about anything that happened at a particular stop because it wasn't profitable. They wouldn't give directions / outline what needed to happen for the unprofitable stop, so a volunteer was was left to gather all other volunteers and give them tasks. Volunteer was given an important task at the last second with no direction. Changed prices of merch arbitrarily despite volunteer staff just having sold some, i.e. item becoming $20 cheaper. Asked for volunteer staff to gather at the venue but made them wait outside at a McDonald's for 3 hours. The setup/sales on site were all last minute due to decisions being changed. Just unorganized and unprofessional. Like, these people are doing Jacky and his company a favor by volunteering, and this is how he is allegedly treating them. Crazy. Someone quote retweeted this and said, "It was Vancouver, wasn't it? Even just as a fan, feeling was palpable. Nobody knew what was happening and we were so confused. I don't blame the volunteers. Becky was the one who sold me the tote bag for $10, arguing with Jacky to do so, when it was online for $30. These screenshots were taken and or shared by someone on Twitter who goes by Bunny, so shout out to her. A Fuse asks, if my sister can't come until 5 p.m, does that mean she can't do Platinum or VVIP? J&B replied, yep, waste your money. Money bag emoji. This is fan event. Concert is 7 p.m. start. J&B quote retweeted their own tweet, the official announcement with FAQs, I assume, where they said, everybody know. What is selfie mean? 6 members plus you. Can you check this? Another fan asked if J&B could do different times and dates for the ticket tier so that they can have an opportunity to buy both, and J&B asked why you need 2 of-kind tickets. The reason is? In another one, I can't see what the fan said, but J&B said, sorry, I'm not obligated to explain this to you, but I will explain it to you. Limit time. This is not our decision. Anyway, I try my best. Someone else on Twitter, 0803DB, who had quite a few interactions with J&B, one was even included in the Gibby thread, but on the 4th they posted, can I add that they blocked me yesterday, unblocked, and then sent this earlier. What is even the scissors? And the messages J&B sent them say, if you feel it is expensive, please do not buy the platinum ticket and just buy the GA ticket and support us. Please, thank you. This comment, scissor emoji, internet connecting, I resend. Bunny did quote retweet this, making a comment on the DMs, but what really caught my attention were her replies to her own tweet saying, I'm not going to link it, but you can easily find his personal Instagram, and it seems very much that he is interested in money and having his little power trip, and he's using on and off for that. Hugely pathetic. Posting selfies with them like they're friends on vacation while he's in a group chat trying to sell their sweat. Like I said, I don't condone anyone looking up or going to his social media accounts, personal or business, but his account is currently private. So I personally never got to see his account. I can't imagine how many pictures he has on there with different artists that he's worked with in the various companies that he owns or works with, because I have seen some posted publicly, not on Instagram. But speaking of Instagram, apparently during the last tour, the Be Here Now tour, some of the on and off members' information was leaked onto the internet, and when this thread was going around, this obviously came up again. Do you remember when I said that Jacky uses the username Jacky7102? Well, imagine my fucking shock when I see that Jacky himself posted on February 25th, 2024, the hotels that the members were staying at for their first tour date while they were there. Allegedly. I don't know. I don't understand. And the thing is, fans emailed WM and they didn't do anything. No response, and the fans were left with a whole lot of questions and doubts. To make it even worse, on April 13th, 2024, a day after the tour announcement and the day after chewing out Mars, Jacky himself posted the on and off members' flight schedule. He revealed the days that they would be flying out and where they would be flying to in terms of city. The only thing that he didn't reveal was the actual flight information, but I don't think it would take the CIA to figure that stuff out, and I know for a fact that On and Off had and has sussings, and he was in the group chat with people who were trying to figure out when and where the members were going to be, and people who wanted their sweat-soaked t-shirts. I'm sure if they really wanted to find that information, they could find it. Why he would post the hotels for one tour and then think that it was okay to post some of their flight information for the next tour, I have no clue. And I don't know if he was being sent the emails that fans were sending to WM at the time of the Be Here Now tour, but after all of that, Jacky ended up releasing an apology via the J&B Entertainment Twitter account on July 5th, 2024, where it said, I am J&B Entertainment CEO Jacky Yu, who is organizing On and Off's North American tour. First, I sincerely apologize to On and Off and their fans. While selling tickets for On and Off's North American tour, I made a Kakao Talk group chat with a few fans and sold Canada and North American tickets with additional benefits. Due to my foolish actions and imprudent words, I am truly sorry for causing damage to the On and Off members, fans, and WM Entertainment. From now on, I promise never to communicate with fans individually or provide benefits without consent from WM Entertainment. Additionally, a problem arose during my individual actions, and I received an order from WM Entertainment to correct a problem regarding North American and Canadian ticket sales. However, I caused ongoing problems by miscommunicating with fans and was discovered during tour schedule discussions, creating a misunderstanding that J&B Entertainment was involved in a huge part of the problem. I do not blame anyone or make any excuses for all this happening because of my carelessness, and I am reflecting on my actions. I will cancel North American tickets for those who receive benefits not confirmed with WM Entertainment. Also, we will provide 100% cancellation/refund for those that wish to receive a refund. Once again, we apologize for causing harm to On and Off and On and Off fans. This comes up later, and it's a pretty big note, so keep this in mind that this was posted in Korean, not English, not French, nothing, just in Korean. Canada-based touring company, mind you. Another thing, this doesn't come up later, but I don't know why he separated Canada from North America, since Canada is literally part of North America, but we have bigger fish to fry right now. After reading and hearing that, do you guys really think that he meant his apology? ¿Crees que en su corazoncito that he meant everything that he just said? Because I don't. There was someone who I saw that received a DM from J&B after the Gaby thread was made and before the apology was tweeted. Someone with one of the cutest usernames, Cats Waltz on Twitter, quote retweeted Gaby's thread and said, J&B insinuating that K-fuses are lying about all this in my DMs right now, then replied to their own tweet with a caption and a screenshot. The screenshot starts with Cats Waltz saying, I'm not talking about prices, sincerely talking right now. The only thing I want to understand is the sale of sweat-soaked t-shirts, the sale of snapshot tickets in advance, the strange way of payment out of the official sales site, and last but not least, why you guys revealed artists' travel schedules and accommodations. Please, this is absurd. And J&B, we will officially explain this controversial content. This is completely wrong. We will provide an official explanation for the details. We would like to inform you that there are many edits made by the devil. First of all, can you please wait a little longer? We will present the edited content one by one. That fan is what she doing. I have no clue what that last message is supposed to mean, and I don't know why he brought up the devil. What's he got to do with this? So, do I personally think that with so many fuses and different fandoms coming together to ask him questions and clarifications that he just flipped around in 24 hours? No, because while this was going on, J&B Entertainment was one of the companies putting on AB6's 2024 fan concert in North America. And since Canada is part of North America, whoa, this came up again. They had 2 stops in Canada, and it looks like J&B Entertainment was in charge of those. The first stop of the tour was in Toronto, Ontario on July 3rd, and the other one was in Montreal, Quebec on July 5th, aka the day that the apology was posted. And on Twitter, someone quote retweeted their apology, which is now deleted, the day after the apology and concert saying, y'all, the CEO was telling people last night at the AB6 concert in Montreal that the screenshots from the group chat were fake. This quote-unquote apology is meaningless. Continuing saying, to be more specific, he was saying they were all edit, and also telling people to follow J&B since they're in quote-unquote big trouble. Something that was brought up here and there and throughout Jacky's messages in the thread was an Asian tour, and what he meant was that there were going to be 2 stops in October of 2024 where J&B Entertainment was in charge of the show in Taipei, Taiwan, and then another one in Hong Kong. Well, those 2 stops were canceled around July 5th or 6th, and this is what he decided to post to announce that. Okay, Canva. Under the tweet I just read about the AB6 concert, someone else named Cade had some things to say and to give a bit more insight on the situation as well. Again, take this with a grain of salt, but they said he was mad that people bought snapshots at the help desk and not online when the link didn't work, and said that he didn't care about canceling Hong Kong and Taipei, which is obvious because he canceled it when he was just standing there outside smoking during the day. In a reply to someone else, Cade said, yeah, and volunteers said he promised them banners to hold with members' names for fan chat, but they ended up only having a sheet of paper that had the member's name and said snapshot. Now, this is about AB6, but from what I could see before the Gaby thread and after, I don't know why J&B offered perks when it's so difficult for them to deliver on them. allegedly. I've never been, but quite a few fans from various different fandoms have said this. I don't know why they would still offer this to this day when they couldn't even get enough film for the 3 stops they were in charge of, but whatever. In another reply, they said, just to add on, they should have made the fan chats limited per member or more even, because Daehui had like 20 people while Woong had 3. And do you remember when I mentioned that Jacky miraculously had a wife and she's involved in the company? Well, she comes up again because they said, yeah, there was also an older Korean lady, short with long hair and bangs and highlights, and I think that might be his wife. She came out before the show when check-in was already an hour late to tell us it was late because they had just gotten pizza and they were eating. And after the show, she came up to me and others outside, shoved the pile of extra snapshot tickets in our hands and dropped half of them and left. And I went down a deep rabbit hole while researching this, and I unfortunately know a little too much about this man now, and I wish I didn't. Extraño mi vida de antes, but from what I could find and see, this is his wife. I'm not gonna show her or say her name, so either trust me or don't, but I know those fuck ass bangs and that dye job from anywhere. Allegedly, Jacky and his wife were continuing with some of the behaviors that got them in trouble in the first place, the ones that he just quote unquote apologized for. Now, at this point, you may be wondering, where the hell is WM Entertainment? And that's what a lot of fuses were wondering as well. And they were demanding that they made a statement because this was all being reported to WM Entertainment, but they just turned around and revealed everything to J&B, and suddenly they have nothing to say. Well, on the 5th of July, just like J&B Entertainment, they released a statement. Just like J&B, it was just in Korean, and fuses either had to translate it themselves online or find someone who would be able to translate it. Also, something the fuses were mentioning a lot was that on Gaby's account, they posted a statement from the On and Off Fan Union, and they posted that statement in 4 different languages: Korean, English, Mandarin, and Japanese. So, if a fan union could do it, why not WM Entertainment? And while yes, the On and Off Fan Union statement was posted after both statements / apologies, the point still stands. Thankfully, there was someone on Twitter named Jiho_Hamke who posted a translation in English in the replies. It says, "Hello, this is WM Entertainment. We would like to talk about an issue related to J&B Entertainment, the overseas tour agency of our artist On and Off. First of all, we would like to apologize for causing concern towards our fans and artists. We have been repeatedly voicing our opposition and demanding improvements on their arbitrary operating decisions and on their unfriendly responses to fans that have not been shared nor discussed with us. Although the agency has belatedly apologized to the artists and fans and expressed their willingness to improve, we have decided to terminate the contract with them and cancel our tour visits in Taiwan and Hong Kong. We send our sincere apologies to the Taiwanese and Hong Kong fans who have been waiting for this tour visit. Regarding the North American tours scheduled for August, considering the fans who have eagerly prepared in advance for participation, we will notify you at a later time after a closer look over the matter. We feel heavily responsible and promise to make sure the same things won't happen again in the future. In addition, we would like to apologize once again for causing disappointment to the fans who have always shown their love and support for the artist." So basically a big ol' nothing burger, other than announcing the cancellation of the Asian stops for the tour. Jacky straight up disrespected the On and Off members, was shown and known to release the flight and hotel information for free on his Instagram, was saying that he has and was going to sell the sweat-soaked t-shirts of the members, made fun of the amount of fans that they have, and a whole lot more. But they didn't address it, only saying that he made rude remarks, talked rudely to fans, and that they were going to look more into it. A lot of fuses from all over the world told them what was happening, sent emails with proof. Enough emails that WM was sending it to the accused. What the hell else do they need to look into? On the 15th of July 2024, WM Entertainment finally spoke out. They released a statement not only in Korean, but also in English. It says, "Hello, this is WM Entertainment. We would like to share our stance regarding On and Off's North American tour performances. First of all, we sincerely apologize once again for causing concern to our fans with this matter. We have decided to proceed with the North American tour as planned for the fans who have been eagerly anticipating the performance. However, we have determined that changing the event organizer with the limited time remaining until the performances poses a significant challenge. In this regard, we have requested that Jacky Yu, the CEO, will not be involved in the customer service and On and Off's North American tour going forward. J&B will establish a new CS team and deploy additional professional staff to ensure the smooth operation of the performances. Moving forward, our agency will do everything possible to ensure the safety of our artists and the smooth progression of the concerts. Additionally, J&B is currently discussing paying compensation to the artist for the damages caused to their work. Regarding the sudden cancellation of the concerts in Taiwan and Hong Kong, we sincerely apologize once again to the local fans who were disappointed by this decision. We will do our utmost to reorganize and visit you again as soon as possible. Lastly, regarding the blacklist issue, we have requested the list of names from J&B. However, due to reasons related to violation of the Personal Information Protection Act, we have not received the names of the individuals involved. We are currently undergoing an internal legal review concerning this matter. Taking this incident as a lesson, we will strengthen our selection criteria for all collaborating companies and make every effort to ensure such issues do not recur. Thank you. So, Jacky wasn't allowed to be in charge or be part of the tour. Due to time restraints, his company will still be in charge of the tour, but Jacky would have to hire and assign a team to take on his role of the tour. And on top of that, WM wanted him to pay the members for damages caused to their work. Oh, I know his pockets were hurting. He said that On and Off barely had any fans and they came around and hit him where it hurts. Now, I was asking myself, what happened with the tour? Main thing, I saw that a lot of fans, a lot of fuses, and the On and Off members had a really fun time, and that's all that really matters. All of the stops in North America went through, but even though WM Entertainment said that Jacky would have to hire a team and not be there, quote, he will not be involved in the customer service and On and Off's North American tour going forward, unquote. Some people claim that he was at one or more stops. I never went to any of the stops. I don't know for sure. I'm not going to say that he for sure was or was not there. Apparently, he was seen by multiple people. I saw people on TikTok said that he was mean to their friends. And on top of that, apparently there was a video of his horrendous parallel parking job that people were sharing around. And I can't fucking find it. I find damn near everything about this man and his businesses. And the main thing that I want to see, some light in this goddamn darkness. And it's gone. But whatever, I don't even care for real. But other than that, from what I could find, people had fun. I think that there were things here and there, but other than that, no sweaty shirts were stolen and or sold. The members seemed to have a really fun time in the US. I saw that some of the members went to the aquarium, some of the members went to In-N-Out. I love In-N-Out. I hope they had a blast. But I'm really glad that they had a fun time, all things considered. And I'm really, really happy that the fuses who did decide to go had a really fun time. Who didn't have a really fun time are groups like 82 Major, One and more, because On and Off weren't the only groups. So 82 Major was going to go on tour with J&B Entertainment in November of 2024. So just a few months after the On and Off controversy that I just went over. The tour was announced around April 30th of 2024, and as time went on, it went from a global tour including Asia, North America, and LATAM to just a Canadian tour with a stop in Taiwan. The only reason I know this is because the only thing that is still up on J&B's Twitter of the 82 Major tour, it's a reply to a tweet of their own, I assume, since it's deleted, where they apologize for the cancellation of the stops in the other countries. We would like to express our sincere apologies to you K-pop fans and 82DE. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. Originally, we had planned for 82 Major to tour both the United States and Latin America. However, in accordance to the laws of the United States and other countries, we decided on Canada and Taiwan. It may be possible to go to United States and Latin America in 2025. Once again, we apologize to you all and ask you to support 82 Major concert in Canada and Taiwan. I sincerely apologize to you. This was posted on June 14th, 2024, and around July 15th of 2024, after the Gaby thread, after the first WM apology, after the J&B apology, and potentially after the second WM Entertainment statement and apology, Great M Entertainment, 82 Major's company, ended up releasing a statement. Hello, this is Great M Entertainment. We regret to inform you that the 82 Major 2024 Global Tour concerts in Taiwan and Canada, originally scheduled for October and November 2024, have been cancelled. After careful internal discussions, we have decided that it would be difficult to proceed, and therefore we are cancelling the concerts in Taipei, Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver. We kindly ask for the understanding of all the fans who have been eagerly eagerly awaiting the 82 major 2024 global tour concerts. We will work hard to prepare even better performances in the future. Thank you. Now, this is just my speculation, so take this with a big old grain of salt, but I wouldn't be surprised if Great M saw some of the things going around since the announcement of the tour, especially since a lot of their fans were emailing them about what was exposed about Jacky and the secret group chat and everything that I just went over. And I found something on Twitter, and it was someone who was tweeting about the situation and said, not to mention they blamed the failing of their 82 major tour on their maknae, who is a minor. Again, I don't know how true that is. Take it with a big grain of salt. Apparently, allegedly, supposedly, perchance, quizás. But a lot of J&B Entertainment's tweets are deleted and some of them are not archived. And if they are, I couldn't find them. However, if that is true, I would not be shocked, and that is absolutely insane. So this tour is canceled. So that should be the end of it, right? Of course not. 82 major may be out of the picture, but that doesn't mean that a new player, ILY1, can't come into the picture. J&B Entertainment announced on August 2nd, 2024 that ILY1 would have fan concerts in Canada in November, and one stop, coincidentally, in Taiwan in October. And another coincidence is that these stops would happen on the exact same days and in the exact same venues as the cancelled 82 major tour. So obviously, people were suspicious, since this tour was announced 2 to 3 weeks after the announcement of the tour cancellation. And then on top of that, obviously they noticed it's at the same venue, same day, same everything. But the smoking gun was that when fans went to go buy the tickets or even look at the tickets, they went to the link provided by J&B, and even though the page said ILY1, the actual URL said 82 major. Oh okay. Same date, same venues, same Taiwan show, same URL, same everything. They just recycled it. More threads were made, more emails were sent, more articles were written, and more people were blocked by Jacky. All of this came to a head just about a month before the tour started, when some of the venues for the concerts stopped selling tickets, and one of the front of house managers confirmed the cancellation of the stop via email. Now, this was around October 1st or 2nd. Venues were saying something, venues were talking about them canceling and the promoters putting on an even bigger tour, and there were different artists starting to fill in the spots for the dates that ILY1 was supposed to perform at those cities and at those venues. Accounts were talking about it, creators were talking about it. I think Kpop talked about it before the actual announcement. And the actual announcement was over a week later on October 7th, 2024, when J&B Entertainment announced that the tour would be cancelled. We regret to inform you that the ILY1 Canada Live Tour, originally scheduled for November 1st, Toronto, November 3rd, Montreal, and November 5th, Vancouver, has been cancelled. The tour will be rescheduled as part of our North American tour next year, with new dates expected to be announced in the spring. All ticket holders will receive a full refund. We are working with the box offices in each city to process refunds as quickly as possible. We sincerely apologize for the inconvenience, and we will keep you updated once the new tour schedule is confirmed. Thank you for your understanding, and we can't wait to see you next year. Thank you. The Taiwan stop did go through. They performed there seemingly with nothing notable going on. According to some fans who actually bought tickets, and according to Kpop, there were some people who didn't even know about the cancellation, didn't even know about the tour or anything until bigger accounts said something. And some people didn't get their refund. There were people who had to email not only J&B but also the venues to try to get a refund. I don't know if to this day people still haven't gotten their refund. I don't know. But another tour announcement did happen. On January 15, 2025, J&B Entertainment announced that the tour would be back on. But remember when J&B and even some of the venues said that the other tour was canceled to have a bigger, even better tour with even more stops? Yeah, this tour had 2 stops instead of 3, and instead of any more. And on top of that, instead of there being all 6 members, there would only be 5 members participating in the tour, with Aura missing out on both stops of the tour due to health concerns. But there's bigger things going on with ILY1 and Ara in specific, so if you want to learn about that, please check out Jihoon's Carrots video. The stops came and went without any being cancelled again, even though I saw a lot of ILY1's fans upset, boycotting the tour and making various threads. Everything went on okay. Apparently, J&B was giving away free ILY1 tickets, but I personally do not know. Something that you may notice for some of these stops of the tours that J&B puts together is that there's not that many people there. Like, there's quite a bit, but this is not what I was expecting for some of the groups that they were promoting these tours for. And I fear that's the problem. The promoting, or lack thereof. The promoting by J&B isn't necessarily the best. We already kind of talked about Jacky's English, which isn't the best, but that really hurt the groups that they were promoting, unfortunately. One, because he was judging the on and off members' English, but also because people who are fans of these groups would go to Twitter or Instagram or onto the actual J&B website and see things that made them think that these tours or these stops were scams, since the English was so bad and the tour posters are horrendous. On top of that, the way that the official J&B Twitter account would interact with fans, rudely calling people poor, and just the general vibe that came off of the account, people were not convinced that these stops and these tours were real. You may think that these posters are pretty bad, but let me show you some amazing ones. They're real pretty. They have the cities in the background. I love them. You may be thinking that Jacky got Canva Premium or something, hired someone, and you would be wrong. You would be so wrong. Sophie, aka _Sophies on Twitter, made these posters for free. They volunteered to make those for the cities that on and off were going to go have a concert in, to promote them, because J&B wasn't doing much. A few posts here and there on Twitter and Instagram to promote an event isn't enough. People weren't asking for billboards, but they just wanted to get the word out there, putting a poster or two up in a K-pop store, asking the venues if they can put up posters, something. J&B's office is in Toronto. CBM apparently has an office in Toronto too, but it looks like their main office is in Vancouver. So putting things up in those two cities would make sense, since J&B has concerts in those two cities frequently. It also didn't help when promoting Only One Of's tour, Only Art Odyssey, which had various horror stories about it, but I want to make a whole video on Only One Of in and of itself, so I will be skipping that for this video. I'm sorry. But when promoting the Los Angeles stops, he added a hot fire emoji gif. This was when there was the devastating Southern California wildfires in 2025. And if I remember correctly, this Instagram story was posted on January 11th, 2025. You may be wondering, after all of this, after everything they did to fans, to fuses, to on and off, to WM, even though I hate them, they did a lot of things to WM Entertainment. You may be wondering, how does J&B still get companies to agree to tour with them? And I was too. Again, take this information with a grain of salt, but I am once again going to have to turn to Dizzy Pop to come in with the information. If I am remembering correctly, Dizzy Pop works in security and has connections in the touring world, so he asked around, and this is the answer that he got.
I asked somebody in the touring world, hey, how does this Jacky U guy getting all these tours when his reputation is garbage? Generally with tours, a touring company will buy out the contract for the tour and then run the whole tour, and at the end, once they go through all of the profits and whatever that's made, they will take a percentage and give it back to the company. From my understanding, Jacky U pays more up front, but then takes a bigger chunk at the end. Therefore, if you don't attend the show, Jacky U makes less money. In theory, anyway. Companies are going with him right now because he pays more up front, so if the tour flops, they've already made money.
And if you don't know, Dizzy Pop is based in Minnesota. That's close to Canada, so I trust him. You don't gotta, but I do. I know that J&B Entertainment has worked with other groups and are still currently working with a whole lot of other groups. And fans have been making threads and posts to this day talking about how bad J&B Entertainment is, to boycott their tours and to not support J&B and wait for the group that they are fans of to go on tour with a different company. I know that there is potentially a lot of stuff that I am missing and that I'm only scratching the surface with some of the things that J&B has done, said, and things that have been exposed. If you know anything else, please leave it in the comments so that other people can be aware of things. And if you have your own experiences and are comfortable with sharing them, please share them down below. So after all of this, you'd think that J&B Entertainment would keep it cute, keep it quiet, be demure, something, and focus on J&B Entertainment Entertainment's relationship with fans, building back trust, their relationship with artists and entertainment companies, something. But no, you'd be wrong. J&B Entertainment, from the time that this whole controversy was going on in 2024 to now, has released at least 3 different posts and statements talking about pursuing legal action against people who make posts and videos on social media. Specifically, I think they mentioned Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. So if this video gets posted on Vimeo, you know what happened. No, I'm kidding. But apparently Jacky Yu did end up trying to sue 5 people in South Korea. He brought forth a suit. I don't know if it's one lawsuit or 5 different ones, but there were 5 defendants, and he filed it through the police in South Korea, I think in Seoul. I know Nugebi, there was also apparently an owner of a banner shop in South Korea. Don't know what the fuck is up with that. And then the owner of On and Off Minor Gallery. The owner of On and Off Minor Gallery posted on Twitter, they were crowdfunding for On and Off's comeback. They were asking if they should use the money that they've funded for their legal help or put that money aside and then fund for their legal help. They also said that the police got their information from DC Inside. That's pretty much all that I really understood of the situation when it was announced that they were getting pursued legally, and that was around January 19th, 2025. So a couple months after the threads and everything like that. From my understanding, the lawsuit didn't end up going through. I think it ended up getting dismissed. According to Nugebi, they submitted evidence to the police, and according to the police, or what they told Gaby, that J&B, aka Jacky, didn't put any information or any evidence, allegedly. I don't know. Why was he gonna bring on a lawsuit if he wasn't going to add evidence? I don't know. But Jacky has specified that he was going to be pursuing people in South Korea, and I think that's because defamation laws over there are a little bit more lax and favor the person who is suing than the defendant. And defamation cases are notoriously very hard to win in the United States. I don't know how the Crown does it in Canada. There's certain laws in South Korea that I don't understand and I don't agree with, but they don't apply to me because I'm not Korean, you know what I mean? From my understanding, he hasn't pursued anyone who is not Korean in Korea. Dizzy Pop has said before that he was never contacted, he was never pursued legally, nothing ever happened with him. I know people online have been like, oh, I've been calling him out so often and he hasn't even fucking blocked me, so how is he gonna get me legally? You know what I mean? I didn't see any videos on YouTube, which is one of the reasons that I wanted to cover this, but if my shit ends up getting deleted, you know who did it. And Jacky, if you're fucking watching this and you decide to pursue me legally but you didn't pursue someone else, not to throw you under the bus, Dizzy Pop, but if you pursue me and not somebody like Dizzy, he made 3 videos, you know what I'm saying? If you pursue me, you're anti-Mexican and you're homophobic. Oh, I know what it is. No, I'm kidding. That's a joke, not an accusation. And yeah, he's still doing tours to this day. He just announced a US tour for Close Your Eyes, so let's see how that goes. You know, he didn't even know where Arizona was, so how the hell is he gonna sue people if he doesn't even know where Arizona is? Anyway, that's the video. I am so tired, so I'm gonna make this outro short. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry for not posting. You know how I am at this point. I say I'm gonna post and then I don't post for a month. I'm going to be slowly but surely remaking my old videos, privating the original ones with the Papa's gameplay, remaking them with added details, new intros, new outros, and the footage of me making jewelry and such. Also, this stitch, the spiral stitch, is pretty simple, so if you want to know how to make it and want me to do a tutorial or something, let me know and I can make a short or something. So just let me know. I'm really tired. I'm so tired of this video. I recorded everything in one single switch. The world is freaking me out. The world is tiring me out, so I'm gonna head out. Oh yeah, by the way, this is how the bracelet thingy turned out. It's way too big for my hands and it's way too big to be an anklet, but I use it as an anklet sometimes when I'm feeling a little adventurous. If you want me to make something and some of the colors together, just let me know. I think it turned out pretty cool. Anyway, if you like the video, please like the video. If you like how I made this video and you want to subscribe, please subscribe. I still don't know what the hype button does. I don't think I ever will at this point, but if you want to hype up the video, please hype the video. And yeah, that's about it. Fuck ICE, fuck the IDF, free Palestine, free Congo, free Sudan. Pray for Venezuela if you can help with donations for Venezuela. Okay, bye. Besos.